Batching your art practice is often misunderstood. When I mention batching, some artists immediately push back with common concerns. I'm not a production line. I don't want to be pigeonholed. Batching kills my creativity. If you've thought any of these, you're not alone. Let's unpack each objection and why batching might actually be exactly what you need to unlock your art practice without sacrificing your creativity or freedom. Hi, I'm Carrie. Here on Artist Strong, I help self-taught artists go from unsure to unstoppable so they can create their first real series of artwork and start building a portfolio they're proud of. If you are ready to stop the DIY learning and get the support and structure to finally draw and paint whatever you want, I'm here to help. Sign up and watch my workshop, How to Create Art from Your Imagination. To date, thousands have joined the community. The workshop is completely free and the link is in the description below. If you've never heard of batching and want some context before digging into today's conversation, be sure to check out Artist Strong's most watched video, Why Batching Your Art is Important. Understand the nuance. Batching versus working in a series. Before diving into these objections, it's helpful to clarify a common confusion. Batching and working in a series are related, but not the same. A series is a body of work connected by a theme, medium, or concept. And it's an artistic exploration where each piece contributes to a bigger conversation. For example, Georgia O'Keeffe's series of flower paintings or Monet's water lilies capture variations on a subject, inviting viewers to experience depth and/or progression. Batching is a practical method, an approach to working where you focus on similar tasks or artworks together to maximize efficiency and flow. This might be sketching several ideas in one session, applying an underpainting to multiple canvases, or mixing one color palette for use across a group of works. Batching can be used within a series to maintain momentum and consistency, or you can batch across unrelated projects simply to organize your time and creative energy better. Both are powerful tools. The series helps you build a cohesive artistic voice and body of work. Batching helps you sustain productivity and creative flow, reducing overwhelm and decision fatigue. I'm not a production line. A frequent worry is that batching turns artists into factory workers, churning out identical copies without heart or soul. Here's the truth. Batching is not about making replicas or mass producing the same artwork over and over. Unlike a car assembly line where each worker repeats a single task endlessly, batching lets you control the creative process across multiple pieces, connected by theme, technique, or medium. Historical example: Andy Warhol's repeated use of iconic imagery such as Marilyn Monroe portraits, varied in color and style, exploring cultural themes through repetition. His medium of silk screening encouraged batching by design. Another example: when fellow artists sign up for the 100-day project, they often batch preparing materials. For example, cutting 100 pieces of paper the same size for uniformity, or collecting all the image references needed to achieve their goal. Once I have a concept I want to explore, I really enjoy starting the works as a group. Batching the initial layers helps me envision the series of artworks as a whole and strengthens their relationship. I consider composition, color, and more as I draw out then paint my first layer of the works. I step away from batching as I get into the more individual parts of each artwork and refine it for the finishing touches. Batching frees you to explore variations, push ideas further, and find flow without the constant distraction of starting from scratch on each piece. If you dread facing a blank canvas, batching can really help. What's your take? Have you ever worked on multiple pieces at once? How did it feel? Tell me more in the comments below. I don't want to be pigeonholed. Many artists fear that focusing on one theme or style will trap them, limit their exploration, or bore their audience. But here's the secret. All artists develop a unique voice over time because they consistently explore some ideas or techniques. Pablo Picasso, famous for his multiple styles, maintained distinct qualities that made his work unmistakably his. Historical example: Georgia O'Keeffe repeatedly painted flowers, delving deeper into form and color, which helped define her style. Contemporary example: when my student Shay Irving finished my program Self-Taught to Self-Confident, she decided to draw a portrait of a pigeon every day-ish for 30 days. Setting up a simple repeated system let her show up more easily for her goal of 30 pigeon portraits. I actually use batching as part of my process with collage. I have this beautiful sketchbook created by my friend Holly Dean that I finally decided to use. My daughter inspired me to collage, and I'm now filling the pages with small compositions. But instead of resolving one composition at a time, I select my cutouts, which I've batched by cutting out a bunch on a different day, and then search through the book to see which composition is calling for that piece. Eventually, some pages are finished, while others may never be. It's been this great low-pressure way to show up and make some art. My examples in this, aside from my own, are more evidence of sticking with something than batching, but it is related. If you only create one artwork for each idea you have, batching is less useful, and you are much more likely to struggle with style. Batching encourages you to dive deep into a subject or technique, letting your style emerge naturally. You don't have to commit forever, just long enough to explore meaningfully. What themes or techniques do you find yourself returning to again and again? Share your thoughts in the comments. Batching kills my creativity. Some artists feel batching is too structured and robs their spontaneity and inspiration. But structure and creativity aren't enemies. They're dance partners. Batching is a flexible framework, not a rigid formula. It reduces decision fatigue so your brain can focus on what matters most, the art. Historical example, Vincent van Gogh. He painted a series of sunflowers and wheat fields, often making multiple versions to experiment with light and emotion. This practice fueled his creative breakthroughs. I just spoke about how my collage process helped me finally start filling the pages of a beautiful sketchbook. I stopped worrying about every page looking beautiful and just got curious about piecing together mini artworks. Then I thought, ooh, these might be fun to draw. I also encouraged a student exploring family photos to create multiple compositions of the same image to explore. Those would be easy to develop together at the same time, batching the process as she decides which piece she likes the most, or if she might use them all for display, for example. By grouping similar tasks, like sketching multiple compositions, painting backgrounds on several canvases, or testing a palette, you save mental energy and open space for deeper creative problem solving. This rhythm often leads to surprising discoveries you wouldn't make when jumping between unrelated projects. Does little structure help or hurt your creative flow? Let me know below. Want more structure without sacrificing creativity? If these objections have held you back, but you're curious how batching can support your art practice, I invite you to read or watch my full article, Why Batching Your Art is Important. It's packed with practical tips, real examples, and mindset shifts to help you embrace batching on your own terms. Remember, batching isn't about boring repetition or feeling boxed in. It's a powerful tool to make more art, find your style, and enjoy your creative journey. Have questions or wins with batching? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. As always, please like and subscribe to my work to never miss an episode, and tell me what you'd like to learn about next in the community tab or in the comments. Your ideas determine the content I create. Remember, proudly call yourself an artist. Together, we are Artist Strong.